Okay, here's one that somebody was asking for about real and nominal terms. It was based on one of the questions that I sent out on the index number sheet. Yeah? And I think it was this one. The question says that in 2010, let's suppose that my income was 30,000 quid, and that today, say in 2019, my income is 40,000 quid. Well, what we know is that my nominal income has gone up, because it's gone up from £30,000 in 2010 terms, to £40,000 in 2019 terms. The question is, well, what's happened in real terms? And the answer is, we don't know. First of all, that's my nominal income, and nominal just means in the prices of that year. So back in 1742, my nominal income was probably 50 quid or something, but that doesn't tell us about what that actually buys. So we're also going to need some information on the CPI. In the example, it said that the CPI rose from 120 to 150 over that time. Now then, in order to do this properly, what you actually have to do is to turn one of the figures into the prices of the other year. So we can either turn 2019 into the prices of 2010, or we can turn 2010 into the price of 2019. But before we do, let's give a simpler example. And let's suppose that we know that my income went up from 50,000 to 75,000. But the CPI went up from 100 to 200. Now you'd know how to do this one dead easy, because we can see that prices have doubled. What you would do is either you would say, that's year one, so that's say 2010, and that's say 2019. What you do is you'd say, well, either £50,000 in 2010 is the equivalent of £100,000 today, so therefore £50,000 back then was worth more, or you'd say, price have doubled, so that's worth half as much. £75,000 today, is worth 37,500. And what you're doing in each case is you're taking the figure in, you're taking the figure in your start year, and what you're doing is you're multiplying it by the CPI. That's off the end yet. CPI in the target year, and you're dividing it by the CPI in the start year. So we took 50,000 times effectively 200 over 100, or we took 75,000 times 100 over 200. Now I'll show you now how we'll do it with these actual numbers, and it'll become clear. But what we're saying is, the formula that we're saying is that to convert, we take, if we want to convert from year one to year two, then what we've got to do is we take the figure in year one, we multiply it by the CPI in year two, and we divide it by the CPI in year one. And that's the same whatever we do. So let's suppose we want to convert from 2010 into 2019. Then what we do is we take our 2010 figure, which is 30,000, and then we multiply it by 150 over 120. That's 1.25, so therefore, I don't want to calculate it a bit quicker, 30,000 times 1.25 is 37,000. That's 37,500 quid. What we can then do is say, well, okay, so actually my income has gone up, because it's gone up from, so in 2000, what we're saying is that in today's terms, 30,000 quid in today's terms is the equivalent of 37,500 in 2019 terms. Today, I actually earn £40,000, and therefore my income has gone up by, the percentage change is 40 minus 37.5 compared with 37.5, which is 2.5 divided by 37.5 equals 6.7%. Okay, I'll leave that there. So that because what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to say, well, let's try doing it the other way, and it should give us the same percentage change because it doesn't make any difference which year we change it into the price of. And the sun's suddenly gone in. So let's suppose what we now do is we take the 2019 figure, and we're going to take today's salary and turn it into 2010 prices. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 40,000 quid, Yeah, and what we're then going to do, yeah, is we're going to multiply by 120, yeah, which is the CPI in the target year, yeah, divided by 150. That's that's 0.8. Yeah, so that's 32,000. So therefore, if we work out the percentage change in this case, again we can say the same thing. So what we're now saying, yeah, is that £40,000 in 2019 is the equivalent, yeah, of £32,000 in 2010. Therefore, having rebased that, what we're now saying is that income has risen from 30,000, which is the original year. We're saying that £40,000 is now the equivalent of £32,000 in 2010 terms. So now we have two figures in the same, in the same base, in the base 2010. So therefore, again, our percentage change then in this case it's £2,000 out of £30,000. Yeah, which it better be 6.7%. Yeah, otherwise I just screwed it up. Yeah, but I'm sure it is. Yeah, 2,000 divided by 30,000. Yeah, sure enough, is 6.67%. Yeah, I rounded that one. Yeah, so that's 6.67 as well because I rounded it, and that's it really. So all we're saying is if you want to turn something into real terms, then you have to pick a common base. And once you've done that, you can just work out any percentage change that you want. Yeah, so what we're saying is to turn something into, say, suppose we decide that we want to turn everything into 2015 prices. Yeah, let's suppose we set that as our base. Then all we do is we take the figure in whatever year it is, in 2019, or the figure in 2016, or the figure in 2010. We multiply by the CPI in 2015, and we divide by the CPI in 2019, or we multiply by the CPI in 2015, and we divide by the CPI in 2016, or we multiply by the CPI in 2015, and we divide by the CPI in 2010. In each case, we will then have turned that into real terms. We'll have turned it into 2015 prices. So we'll then have 2019 in 2015 prices, we'll have 2016 in 2015 prices, we'll have 2010 in 2015 prices, and then we can make the direct comparison.